The First Bridge has over a 150-year connection to the community and the nation. On the corner of River Drive and Federal Street in Davenport lies the original embankment for the first railroad bridge across the Mississippi River. One rail still stretches out towards the bridge's other end along the shore of Rock Island. By the 1850s, the crossing from Rock Island, Illinois to Davenport, Iowa, had been identified as the best place along the Mississippi for this important bridge. It was directly west of Chicago, and the island acted as a stepping stone across this section of the river with its limestone riverbed. In addition, the rapids and navigation channel here had been mapped by Robert E. Lee in 1837. After 2 years of construction, the bridge opened to great fanfare on April 21, 1856. Newspapers across the country marked the significance of the event. The engineering achievements of spanning the river had resulted in an impressive wooden Howe truss bridge, over 1,500 feet long and painted white. There were 5 fixed spans distinguished by burr truss arches and a 286-foot swing span, which allowed passage through the draw for the many riverboats. Imagine what it must have looked like to a pilot coming around the bend.
It would have been astounding because there was no other bridge across the river. They would have been amazed at the distance between the piers, 250 feet. Each of the spans was an immense span.
2 weeks after the first train crossed the river, the steamboat Effie Afton struck a bridge pier and caught fire. One entire span and the boat were burned. The subsequent lawsuit became a defining chapter in the nation's development. Steamboat interests argued the bridge was an obstruction to navigation, while the railroads and one of their lawyers, a young Abraham Lincoln, argued that one person had as much right to cross the river as another had to sail up and down it. The Supreme Court ultimately agreed, and the bridge remained. The impact of this case is still felt today. Abraham Lincoln rose to national prominence, and the Transcontinental Railroad became a reality.
Remember, Lincoln had to be president when the North was fighting South, but he also was the president that said, let's connect the East with the West. If I were asked to pick the symbol, to put my thumb on a map of where that connection between East and West began, it was not at the Arch in St. Louis. That's for Lewis and Clark history. The real beginning of connecting of East and West was the bridge that connected Rock Island, Illinois with Davenport, Iowa.
Locally, we see great value in the reconstruction of the Colonel Davenport House to its original specifications. In fact, the Colonel Davenport House is next to where the first bridge abutment was located on the Illinois side of the river. When the new first bridge is in place, it will no longer be shrouded in mystery. It will stand in its rightful place, in view of the Government Bridge, the Colonel Davenport and LeClaire houses, and as an entrance to the new River Heritage Park, which pays tribute to the events that shaped the Quad Cities and can positively impact the economy. Budgets have yet to be finalized, but already the property has been secured and cleared, and planning started with key groups. Much of the work, including engineering design, is being provided pro bono. Fundraising will commence immediately, and bids for landscaping and construction will follow. Grants for the estimated $1.5 million project will be sought from historic preservation groups, Iowa and federal DOT, local foundations, and other sources that support historic reconstruction and trail development.